filing in here to Busch Stadium, and here we go. Willie Taveras, who's been out with an injury the last couple of games, to face Brad Thompson. And the first pitch is inside, 1-0. Our Marshall Wireless starter is Brad Thompson, and he's had better success as a starter, but hasn't thrown an awful lot. But let's see what he's got tonight as Thurston was playing in and the first man retired. A look at Dusty Baker's lineup tonight. That's good to see. A ground ball from Thompson. Taveras, Jay Bruce, and Brandon Phillips here in the first. Then Ramon Hernandez, Lance Nix, 2 for 4 last night. Alex Gonzalez, Adam Rosales, Ryan Hannigan, and Bronson Arroyo. As Al told you in the open, already with 7 wins. And there's a look at Dusty Baker.
Well, Dusty's feeling pretty good about his team because he's got that good pitching. And La Russa, pretty much a bullpen start, led by Thompson right out of the chute. He has not pitched for 16 days. 14+ innings here at the major league level. He did make 2 starts at Memphis and went 5 in each of those.
Well, sometimes in a spot like this, you find somebody that steps up and really surprises you, and that might be Thompson tonight.
Well, you know, in the past, Cardinals have won 17 of Brad's 24 career games starting.
1-2 the count, and you figure that wouldn't go deep in this game, so hopefully he'll work quickly and a lot of strikes early on. Our key to the game, no doubt, Brad Thompson.
Well, Brad Thompson, as you see, what he's done against the Reds and what he's done against the rest of baseball. But he's last year he got a couple starts. He was 2-3. He has really done that quality work. Now, ideally, you don't want to go 16 days between appearances, but he knows he's going to be on a short lease, so it's a premium to throw strikes.
And that is hit out to deep right field, going out and making the catch on the run. Ryan Ludwig. It's a slick warning track, as here in St. Louis we were pelted with the rain at around 2:30, 3 o'clock here in downtown. Rick Ankiel, Colby Rasmus, and Ryan Ludwig in the outfield. Thurston, Ryan Schumacher, and Pujols along the infield. And the battery tonight, Brad Thompson and Yadier Molina. Good catch and right by Ludwig.
Going back on the ball, and as you said, a little treacherous. Should be still a damp outfield, but the warning track, it gets very little attention.
Of course, when they put the tarp on, it's for the infield and nothing on the outfield. Brandon Phillips looks at a non-pitch as time was called. So no pitch. And the next to Phillips.
Just let the hitter get set, right?
And you think about how Thompson likes to work. I'm sure in their scouting reports they know he works quickly. So step out, call time, try to do anything to disrupt what he's doing.
When the hitter stand in the batter's box, he should be fair game.
I would think so too. Here's the 0-1. And I didn't see him call time either. Now, he got into the box and should have been ready to go. 1 ball, 1 strike. Up and in here to Phillips. That will get your attention.
Flips the bat, trying to get out of the way of it. Just how rare do you see an inside pitch?
There's another one, and a ground ball. Thurston is there. Good pitch there by Thompson. Good start to this game. Cardinals coming up in their half of the first, and there's no score. in St. Louis, and there's no score. Skip Schumacher will lead it off for the Redbirds, and Skip is hitting an even 300, the second baseman for the Cardinals. Colby Rasmus batting second, then Pujols, who again is healthy enough to play tonight. Ludwig and Keel Molina, then Thurston, Thompson, and Ryan. And Colby Rasmus a triple away from the cycle last night. And this guy can be pretty tough. Bronson Arroyo, and you see his starts 10 and a very good record of 7-3. ERA though is over 5.
Yeah, it's up there, and he's been roughed up a few times, but pitched very well his last 2 times out. Last one is a complete game against Houston. Time before that, went 8 innings, allowing 1 run in each of those starts.
That's taken low. He's got the fastball, and he'll throw his best pitch, the curveball. You see Wednesday against Houston, the 9 innings, then May 6 at Milwaukee, what he did in that start. So he's been up and he's been down.
Yeah, and he's been in quite a role, you know, since he gave up, got really torn up by Toronto a couple years ago. He's won 18 games.
And there's a walk.
Since that time, second most in the major leagues.
Take a look at the Reds defensively. After 4 straight and a leadoff walk, Nix, Tavares, and Bruce in the outfield. Rosales, Gonzalez, Phillips, the Gold Glover from a year ago, and then Ramon Hernandez at first. Arroyo and Hannigan, the battery. So leadoff walk, and here's Colby Rasmus. Ideally, Al, even at this level, would you like to see him take a pitch or 2 here?
I would.
I would too. Sometimes, though, you don't see that, do you?
There he is now. The first pitch may be the best you see. And a breaking ball wouldn't be something that you would go up there looking for the first pitch. So
and he'll throw that at any point in the count.
Yeah, but I mean, you go up there after you've thrown 4 balls, and you're going to be looking for a pitch, something you can drive, and you're primarily going to look fastball.
He's got that curveball. He throws a slider. He's got a straight change. Doesn't overpower you with his fastball. It probably between 87 and 92 miles an hour.
He's the kind of guy that actually he'll get on the mound and even invent a pitch if he needs to get it out.
He's got that high leg kick too. Not in this situation with a runner on, but you don't see that high leg kick very often anymore.
No, you do not. And first time he came, you know, to the National League, you know, he was a little bit more deceptive. Now that he's been around for a while, you're a little more accustomed to seeing what he's going to look like.
He was with Pittsburgh between 2000 and 2002. Then with the Boston Red Sox, part of their World Series team that beat the Cardinals in 2004. And with Cincinnati since 2006. That year he was an all-star.
Late last season he faced the Cardinals and got roughed up. 7+ innings, but a career high 13 hits.
Outfield is shallow here for Colby.
Colby had 3 hits last night of the 7 the Cardinals got.
Rasmus slices one the other way. And this ball will get down. Nix couldn't get it. Schumacher on his way to third. He'll stop there. So second and third and nobody out. And good to see Rasmus go the other way.
A lot of extra base hits of late. And sometimes you get worried about a young hitter getting home run happy. But this is more the line drive. They tried to go up and that ball stays down and away. Nix had a bad route as he came in on the ball. Then he had to go back, and by that time the ball's over his head and in the gap. First base is open. I wonder how they'll, you know, with Arroyo, I'm sure here in the first inning they would concede a run here, but they're probably in a lot of ways going to try to pitch around him.
And remember,
at least make Albert try to, you know, go after a pitch out of the strike zone.
I was about to say, remember what they did last night too, early in the game, playing the infield in. Dusty Baker was aggressive and it paid off at least one time with Brendan Ryan up.
I think with Albert at the plate, you feel for all these infielders' families, particularly their wives, and so they play back.
Strike one on Pujols. Good to see Albert back in there, and he told anybody that wanted to listen after the game last night that he was fine and he would be in the lineup here tonight, and here he is. That'd be a little lower than people think there. 63% in this spot. 12 for 19. Those runners have come in to score. 0-1 pitch to Pujols. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs leading their ball game against Atlanta, top of the 6th. Pittsburgh is tied with New York 1-1. And Milwaukee trailing in their game 2-1. Teams in the Central.
Win your game, because these Reds are right on the back bumper of the Cardinals.
1-1 pitch to Albert Pujols. Down the left field line. Foul. Foul by a couple of feet.
Slow off-speed pitch that just couldn't keep fair.
And you could see Arroyo completely miss location with that spot. That was supposed to be about a foot outside. Left it a little bit over the plate.
That's where you get the impression. Now he's got 2 strikes, and sometimes you think you're going to sneak one by. You'll see how far it was by about a foot or so. But by design, they're going to try and get him to widen his strike zone, try and get himself out. And there you see his numbers against Arroyo.
At least now with Ludwig hitting behind him, that potential, it seems like, of a big inning is greater now. As Pujols hits it sharply to short. Only play, though, to go to first. Nicely done by Gonzalez. A run will score, and Albert picks up his 44th RBI. So just like last night, the Cardinals score first for the 21st time in the first inning. But last night was only the 4th time they've lost in those games in which they've scored in the first inning.
And the Reds continue this trend where they're allowing at least a run in the first inning.
Interesting how Arroyo, a veteran, went after Pujols there. He pitched to him even with first base open. And you got to give a little credit maybe to Ryan Ludwig with what he provides behind Albert.
Yeah, Ludwig hasn't had a hit yet since coming off the disabled list, but everybody knows he is a hitter, and it's just a matter of time before his numbers will reflect it.
So 1 out and a runner at second base. Ludwig with 8 home runs despite missing all that time and 27 driven in. It's it down the right field line. Phillips over, and it drops in as a foul ball. And you give Ludwig another life.
Phillips, a Gold Glove winner a year ago, and they could give him an error on that ball.
I wonder if Okenda was saying to Rasmus, be at the bag at second.
See the
because
plate.
you could tag up with his back to the infield.
A little casual. You're absolutely right, Dan, as he's trying to make the basket catch, does not connect with it in foul territory. And Rasmus with his good speed, a middle infielder going back trying to catch the basket catch, he should be able to get to third without a throw.
So runner at second base. New life for Ryan Ludwig. Out to visit Hannigan. Bronson Arroyo will always be linked for Red Sox fans, being part of that 2014. But a lot of people look at a game against the Yankees in which he hit Alex Rodriguez that incited a brawl. Started with catcher Jason Varitek. He threw his glove in A-Rod's face. And after that brawl, the Red Sox would win on a walk-off home run by the St. Louis and Bill Miller out of DeSmet High School. And a lot of people considered that game the turning point of their season in 2004. He was also on the mound when A-Rod in postseason play tried to knock the ball out of Arroyo's glove. And a lot of people around baseball thought that was a tic-tacky kind of play that a professional does not make. You don't do that. A-Rod eventually was called out as he got to second base. And the Red Sox, of course, made histories, sweeping St. Louis and coming back from a 3-0 deficit to the New York Yankees.
Dan, that's one of those plays that you look at it as a Yankee fan, you applaud the effort. And who cares if it's good sportsmanship or not? If it allows you to defeat your arch enemy, it's a good play.
Here's a 1-2. The problem would be if you're A-Rod, if Derek Jeter makes that play, people are going up in arms. When
Right.
A-Rod makes that play, they're,
Borderline.
Yeah, he just hasn't won over those fans yet.
He's won over the bankers.
You see what he's done ahead in the count, 348. Behind in the count, 155. Runner at second. Ludwig out to right. Bruce going back, and he'll make the catch on the track. Rasmus tags from second to third, and there's 2 outs. Well, if you're traveling and can't catch the Cardinals TV broadcast, catch all the action on your computer at MLB.tv. Catch over 100 live out-of-market games per week. For complete details, visit STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on. Cardinals have stung the baseball here in the bottom of the first.
I feel like Ludwig is getting closer. The guy that you're really concerned about is Ankiel at the plate.
The average is dipped now to 211 with 2 home runs and 11 RBIs. On base percentage under 300. Gets underneath it and flies to right center field. Jay Bruce is there to put it away. 1-0 Cardinals. Tomorrow night against the Reds, and Friday night against the Rockies. Fans can purchase terrace and pavilion reserve seats for 50% off the gate price, and that means tickets as low as $8. So get your tickets today at STLCardinals.com. Edison Volquez only lasted 1 inning in the ballgame last night after coming back off the DL because of a back issue. He had back spasms. He went to Cincinnati and saw a team physician. And no structural damage, but elbow tendonitis. So not the worst news the Reds could get.
The worst news, but hopeful that, you know, the one stint would take care of the back spasms, and apparently it did. But another issue shows up.
10 pitches in the first inning for Thompson. 2 balls, no strikes on Ramon Hernandez, the first baseman, followed by Lance Nix and Alex Gonzalez. Hernandez, who is a catcher as well, getting significant time over at first with what he's done at the plate. He's really hit the ball well.
It's a guy that they like.
Popped up, and a play for Molina. He's got it. 4 up, 4 down for Brad Thompson. Good start. Now, Thompson was not treating this like a big deal at all. You know, he's been up and down. He's been in the bullpen. He's been a long man. He's been a starter before. So I'm not going to worry about it.
He prefers to start. It's just, you know, you're a little unarmed when you haven't pitched for so many days, especially when you're a sinker ball pitcher. Preferably, you'd like him to be tired rather than too strong. But he knows he's on a short leash, and he's making the most of it.
And explain that to a fan at home that hears Al say, wait a minute, why would you want him tired?
It's just a fact with most sinker ballers, the more tired you are, the more work you get, the more movement you're able to amass. It's kind of like you get in a groove where you just, pitch after pitch, you're just throwing that same sinking action, ball running.
1 ball, 1 strike on Lance Nix, who goes the other way for a base hit, the first hit tonight for Cincinnati. You and I both remarked about it last night. His upper body, you get a look there. Nix is put together.
Upper body is not one that you would say is conducive, muscle bound. You see the sinker, look at the movement on it, but lefties, it stays up a little bit, and lefties are naturally low ball hitters for the most part, and he had a couple hits last night.
Here's Alex Gonzalez. He's hitting just .219, but a very good glove, as we saw in the first. Hit in the air out to left field. Rick Ankiel under it and has it for the out. 2 away. Ankiel in left tonight, Ludwig in right, and Rasmus is in center. And the eye still isn't fixed in Big Mac land.
But the ouch is gone.
That's
not
gone.
hurt anymore.
That is gone.
Maybe the revenge of the eye is Albert got the ouch with this late slide last night on the ankle.
But he is in the lineup, and that's good to see. Here's Rosales, the third baseman. That pitch taken a little bit low. I've always enjoyed being around Brad Thompson, and people would know this as they see him as kind of the baby face guy and fairly quiet. But you talk to many of his teammates, and they'll tell you he is the funniest guy on this roster. I was talking to Skip Schumacher about that tonight. He said the guy is just hilarious. He said he and Pinheiro are 2 of the funniest guys that no one knows about.
He also has a little mean streak in him. He can get that temper up there and really show his emotions. And he's worked to kind of keep that in check.
When he first came up, he didn't say a word, and all he did was get people out.
He had that great streak in the minor leagues of shutout innings, and came up here and he looked like he was 20 years younger than he does now, and he looks like he's 13. But all he did was fire pitches at the bottom of the strike zone and got ground ball after ground ball.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball hit to third. Thurston, a forced play at second to Skip. Midway through 2, Cardinals with a 1-0 lead, and some Pujols fans, young and old, here at the ballpark. To learn more, visit kia.com. By Aflac, we've got you under our wing. and by the Casino Queen, home of the Lucis Slots. Yadier Molina had the night off in game 1. He'll lead it off for the Cardinals here in the second. Now you can see that high leg kick, Al, is nobody on. Arroyo will work from the windup here.
See people with abbreviated windups now, you know, but a lot of times the hitter gets a good clean look at your release point.
Not Juan Marichal, but it is a high leg kick.
Yeah.
Exmo Cam brought to you by Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill.
Stiff front leg. Suspended there. And
you can also see in his windup, fly ball out to center, how far back he gets with the extension with his arm. And you compare that to a Jason Mott or an infielder.
I was just thinking that, you know.
He really extends back.
Really gets the arm back and that full extension and the fulcrum and the whip action. And then you get Mott, who throws it right from his ear.
Takes all kinds.
Technique of a catcher, throwing like a catcher, which he was when he signed.
Here's Joe Thurston. We talked about this on the road trip, how Thurston and Barton have split time at third base, but a lot of talk here locally about the Cardinals potentially going out and making a move or trying to get Troy Gloss back around the All-Star break. And you wonder if it plays on the minds of the guys that are at that position.
Well, if it does, just do what you did last night, because he had 3 of the 7 hits. He and Rasmus had 6 of the 7.
Ground ball to second that stays down on Phillips, and he'll stay down on it and makes the play for the second out. And it brings in Thompson, who wanted a Hungo Award because of what he's done at the plate, not on the mound.
Well, and you know that I wish to award him the Hungo, but I was overruled by the truck in their video, because I've never had anybody get on their hands and knees and beg for one.
I got to be honest, Al, I don't think you were overruled. It was just the truck had the package done, the video is done, and you see he's 1 for 1, and they weren't about to switch it. There's a swing and a miss, no balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and nobody on. So 1 for 1 for Brad Thompson. He can look up and see 1,000 up there, the scoreboard here at Busch Stadium.
Part of his lobbying points was that he was batting 1,000 and he stayed out of that week's games pitching.
1-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. He's now hitting .500. Sends us to the third, and it's 1-0. fans, that Wednesday, June 3rd, is the second of 5 Ice Mountain autograph nights. 4 current players and 2 former players will be available for autograph signings for fans ages 20 and under. For details about that, visit STLCardinals.com. Also at STLCardinals.com, you can vote for the All-Star Game and vote up to 25 times for your favorite player. It is dark and it is quiet in the radio booth.
First time ever.
As John and Mike are over at the Champions Club. They claim to have sold out the Champions Club, and we would like to do that on June 17th. We'll be broadcasting there that night.
And there's still some tickets available, but there they are.
Jay up there too, I believe. Rick Horton helping out. And a pitch up and in to Ryan Hannigan, the 8th place hitter. We've seen, whether it's from a lack of control because he hasn't pitched or because it's a purpose pitch to back him off the plate, but either way you want to look at it, he's pitching inside.
I like it.
And it's been effective so far. Schumacher under it and has it. Talking with Skip tonight, Al. I said, where's your World Series ring? You know, some of the guys wear them. You see Thompson occasionally with his, Adam Wainwright. And Skip said the first year he had it, he wore it. And he said now it's being worn by his dad. He gave his World Series ring to his dad. And he said, you know, Dan, how cool is that to be able to give your World Series ring to your father? And his dad wears it every single day, sleeps with it, won't take it off. And he loves that people ask, hey, where'd you get that? He said, well, my son is a World Series champion. Pretty proud.
It's the first time you ever see that booth empty.
Very quiet. Normally it's a party going on over there. Up and into Arroyo. 2 balls and 1 strike. You would think that Arroyo would start to return the favor as he sees all these inside pitches.
If you watch and study guys that pitch inside, there's one common denominator.
Arroyo hits it down the left field line and picks up a base hit for the Reds. Their second hit of the night. It's a double.
That denominator is they're usually winners.
Powerade along with Shop and Save are providing all kids ages 15 and under a Yadier Molina jersey backpack. The backpack will be distributed to kids prior to the June 7th game. The Rockies will be here. To purchase tickets, please visit STLCardinals.com. And apparently for the kid giveaways this summer, that might be the best, they say. It's the Yadier Molina jersey backpack coming up this Sunday.
It kind of looks like a jersey, right? And then it's a backpack.
Right.
Kind of makes sense.
Jersey backpack. And a strike
Just didn't want to get too technical.
to Tavares. You're on your game, Al. I'm telling you what, you know those promos inside and out. It's also Pooch's in the Park Day.
Oh, yes.
Tony's favorite.
Judy Beretta had her little kitten and a release form to see if they want to use that for Tony's calendar.
A release form, huh?
Oh, gotta be legal.
Fly ball out to left, and Keel will make the catch, and Arroyo is back to the bag at second. So 2 outs, and it brings in Jay Bruce. So far, you have to really like what you've seen here from Brad Thompson.
Absolutely. You know, he's only thrown 30 pitches to this point. You've got to figure that, you know, if you get 5 innings out of him, you know, that is a real plus of not pitching for 16 games. But at this rate, you might be able to extend a little bit further.
It's like what we saw with Carpenter in Milwaukee. Cardinals had what I would call a soft pitch count. 80-85 was the idea, but watch how he labors out there. If it's a tough afternoon or a tough night, take him out. If not, keep him in there. That's what the Cardinals did with Carpenter that afternoon.
The beauty of having a sinker baller out there is if you do give up some hits, you're always a ground ball from turning 2.
And there's another ground ball. Schumacher steps and throws and makes the play. The Reds strand their second here tonight. Brendan Ryan leads it off when we come back. with a 1-0 lead.
Talked about Brad Thompson, how well he's pitching inside. This is Brandon Phillips, even more so with him, as you see him grimace because he's got the fractured thumb on his right hand. So there, another pitch inside, this one to Royal, and many of those are not by design, but they are effective pitches in there. You know, a hitter can only protect one side of the plate. Pitcher can throw to both sides. But you get him conscious of that ball inside. Now Royal was looking for the pitch inside and hit the double, but if you get him, you know, watch their feet, and they'll kind of tell you that if they're going to really look inside, how you can pitch them effectively away.
Brendan is hitting .269. Apparently Warren Buffett is here tonight. My understanding is that Rams running back Steven Jackson is here as well. And Warren has had a hand in a little baseball as he got involved with Alex Rodriguez in his contract negotiation.
Solved it, didn't he?
He did. He said, you better call the Yankees if you want your $250 million. That was his advice, and that's what happened.
And I know he has become friends with Bob Gibson. They both live in Omaha.
LeBron James as well. He's got his hand a little bit in the sports world. 1-2 pitch. Left side and a base hit for Brendan Ryan. You would assume that Ryan would get the bulk of the playing time with Khalil Green out. Let's see what he can do.
I've enjoyed watching him. You know, he had a very good series in San Francisco. He plays with a lot of energy. But the whole thing is, can he get base hits?
Hot shots, Exmo Cam.
And you know, when he's on the bases, he's a little bit intriguing. You know, he's not an accomplished base stealer, but he's 3 for 4 in that department. He has good enough speed that he should always be able to go to first to third, from first to third on a base hit, or scoring a gapper.
Gap in left center is wide open here for Schumacher. He walked and scored back in the first.
Rosales playing in a little bit at third base.
Mention how I talked with Schumacher before the game, and Steven Jackson is here. There he is in the front row here at Busch Stadium. But you know, Skip was talking about the fact that he was visiting with some of his teammates the other day in San Francisco, and one of the things that they said in that dugout, can you believe we're playing with Albert Pujols? We're going to be talking about this guy. Well, we're old men, that we actually had the chance to be his teammate. Even guys, you know, his peers are talking like that about Pujols.
There's a reason why.
But Tony was saying before the game, don't take him for granted. He said he's a once-in-a-generation type player and the best that he's ever seen.
Well, you know, a lot of people question and they wonder about Tony's fate. Final year of his contract, but that doesn't really mean anything whether he'll come back or not. But you'd have to think somewhere in the back of his mind is he's seen every at-bat Albert's had in the big leagues, and the phenomenal start, and this is his 9th year. Don't you want to be a part of that all the way through?
To me too, Al. I mean, the other thing is not just that, but if he's in the lineup, you've got a chance to win.
And Tony's all about winning. 3rd in the all-time win list. He's the franchise leader in wins here for the Cardinals. He's got a chance to go to number 2 also.
0-2 the count here on Skip Schumacher. Ryan is back to the bag at first. I asked Tony what it has meant to him to be the manager of the Cardinals, and he said no disrespect to Oakland or the White Sox, but it has individually for him a special meaning because of what it meant to his dad. And he said that his dad used to watch all the games with the Cardinal hat on, and he said when his dad passed away and was buried, he was buried with a Cardinal hat. That's what the organization has meant to him, because he grew up in the Tampa area, St. Pete. The Cardinals trained there, and they would see the likes of Red Shandies and Stan the Man, and those guys would come to Tony's office, and he'd be on the phone with his dad, and he'd say, Dad, hold on, I got somebody that needs to talk to you. All of a sudden he'd hand the phone to Stan Musial. I mean, think about that. And he said that just meant so much to him and to his family, and a special place in his heart for the Cardinals.
I remember how much respect that Tony has for Red Shaney's, and one time said he didn't want to manage enough games to pass Red for the all-time leader of wins as a manager. He's 10 away from 2,500. John McGraw has 2,763. Pretty hard to catch Connie Mack. He has 3,731. There's Red Shaney's.
Now Red, if fans don't know it, watching across the country, Hall of Famer, inducted back in 1989. Great player, manager, and he'll dress out still before every game.
Every game's out there with his fungo, and Red talks about his success and longevity is being around younger people.
Always.
And
why do you do it? He said, people keep me young.
Keep him young. Red's in his mid-80s now. I think Stan is going to be 89. That sound right? 89, and I believe in November.
One of the greats.
Oh,
Red Shaney's.
And off the field, two great gentlemen.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Schumacher. Hits it out of play. I played golf with Mike Shannon and Red Shaney's about 3 years ago. We were down in Houston. It was hot. Red decided to play the first 9 holes, and then he just wanted to ride after that. And he grabs the club like a baseball bat, and he says, I'll play this final hole in. And he literally hit the ball about 270, 280 yards straight as an arrow every time off the tee. It was just amazing to watch.
I played with him for many years, and his shoulder now is bothering him a little bit to where he doesn't hit the ball as well as he did. But he was very boring to play with because it was 260 to 290 down the middle. Never got a chance to see the course like we do.
Well, good at bat here by Schumacher. He's making Arroyo work. He's thrown 40 pitches. Leadoff single by Brendan Ryan to left, and a 1-2 count on Skip.
And again, the catcher for the Reds, very difficult to steal off. He's thrown out 45% of runners. Thrown out 5 of 11 runners this season. Let's see on a 2-2 count.
There he goes, and the pitch is hit in the air down the left field line. Lance Nix is over, but that'll find the seats out of play.
Brendan had no idea where it was. And instead of maybe looking at his base coaches, I think he was going to ask the Reds for help.
Seems like Dave McKay takes an extra long time when Brendan gets over at first base to go over the situation.
Hit and run, you got to look in, and he looks in late. He heard the crack of the bat, but he has no idea where it is. Dave, help me.
Brandon Phillips talked a little bit before the game about Ricky Ankiel and his base running mistake last night, as he did not retrace his steps rounding the bag at second, and then was thrown out at first. It was a double play and an easy call. And as a matter of fact, they just tagged the bag at second, and Phillips said, yeah, I saw it all the way. It was an easy call. He missed it.
Yeah. It's one of the responsibilities that, you know, those middle infielders, a lot of times the first baseman is trailing.
Foul tip. As Schumacher just got a piece. So let's go back to the play with Ricky Ankiel. And again, if you round the bag and the fly ball is caught, you have to retrace your steps.
I think he thought there was 2 outs or whatever, but see, he goes by the bag and then he just sidestepped it and never touched it or retrace your steps, and very simply a double play.
With a check on Ryan. Arroyo, an accomplished musician as well.
Got a couple albums out there. Giving concerts.
Be the 12th pitch in this at bat. Plays the guitar. He's also a lead singer. 2-2. Pulled foul. We'll do it again.
people are starting to like this at bat. What did you say, the 12th or 13th pitch now?
I thought they were applauding Aaron for not making an error tonight.
Oh, no, we gave Aaron too much credit for missing that ball, so we aren't going to give him any credit for catching one.
2-2. He's seen just about everything in this at bat. Stolen base for Brendan Ryan. May have been a delayed steal, which you rarely see.
No, I think the catcher thought it was 3-2 and ball 4 instead of being 2-2. And because Brendan was running with the pitch, so he just sits there and goes, "Oh, it's ball." No, it's not. It's ball 3.
There's Dusty in that dugout. He doesn't like to see that. Now if Schumacher can pull it to the right side, play that small ball that the Cardinals have been trying to play as of late.
You'd like to think your catcher and your pitcher always know the count.
Again, you'd like to.
And it doesn't always happen.
Crowd has come alive here. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Schumacher, a swing and a miss. Good at bat though. And listen to the fans for Skip.
There are times you can make an out and they can be productive. There's other times it's a very good at bat just because you made the pitcher work and throw so many pitches. That's almost, eliminates one inning by having a 13, 14 pitch at bat.
Well, Rasmus now is on pace roughly for 15 to 20 home runs. Another home run last night. He's up to 6 with 20 RBIs and hitting around 250 this year. Drives it into center. And Brendan will stay put at second base. The catch made by Taveras. We'll catch Johnny Mac's Cardinals Insider tomorrow on Fox Sports Midwest. Mike Matheny, our special guest, will profile top prospect Brett Wallace, and also Todd Wellemeyer gives us pitching tips on windups and release points. Cardinals Insider tomorrow at 6 on Fox Sports Midwest.
Good news, it's early, but the Marlins have taken a 10-1 lead and batting in the 4th inning against Milwaukee.
Marlins, to me, would be a dangerous team to face. Kind of start that they got off to, the lineup that they possess with some pretty good speed.
Some good pitching.
Now will Albert even see a pitch to hit in this at bat? Runner at second, first base open.
A club like the Marlins, the one thing that is in their disfavor is the fact they don't have the depth. That if they start developing injuries, they can't overcome that.
Cardinals have had to go to their farm system time and again this year.
Cardinals have used 11 rookies this year, the most in the major leagues.
At some point, that's way too many too.
Sure. And they used a lot of that in April when they led the National League in runs scored and batting average. Thompson is the 8th different starting pitcher we've used today, and now a potential pass for Albert.
First pitch was hittable, a strike on the outside corner, went to 1-1, and now they'll walk Pujols, an intentional walk. He had 9 of those in the month of May, the most he had ever had in that month. So Ludwig, who lined out to deep right to end the game last night and first time up here this evening, will come up with runners at first and second and 2 outs.
43rd walk for Albert. Basically 2 months.
Little fan here at the ballpark.
At least we know where his mom and dad are tonight.
We had one shot. Little kid that was outside the ballpark and looked like he was locked out trying to get in. Average at 252. First and second. Ludwig taps it foul.
Ludwig came off the disabled list Friday in San Francisco. Missed 14 games with the hamstring, and the Cardinals elected not to send him on in rehab for a game or two. He's Still trying to get his timing back, getting closer.
Leadoff base hit by Brendan Ryan to start the inning. He stole a base. Schumacher struck out. A line out by Rasmus. Intentional pass to Pujols. 1 ball, 1 strike here on Ryan Ludwig. Ricky and Keel on deck. Beginning of the season, ideally, you'd really like the middle of this lineup with Pujols, Ludwig, and Keel, and a healthy Chris Duncan. Foul back 1-2.
He's never worried about Ludwig. You know, Silver Slugger Award winner last year, All-Star. But in the back of my mind, I looked at Duncan, I looked at Keel, and they just haven't had the consistency. You're still young hitters who have dealt with a lot of injuries. They've had good halves, but not put together that real full season.
Runners in scoring position. You saw the graphic. He's hitting .343. First and second, 2 outs. Ooh, just missed outside. Good eye there by Ryan Ludwig.
What Arroyo will do, it changed speed so effectively, goes in and out, up and down, and you really have to be patient and keep your weight back.
Two. That's what he's been talking about. As his timing, he's felt, has been for the most part there, but can he keep his weight back? And yesterday and again in the cage today, during batting practice, he was trying to take everything to right. Trust his hands.
Now, every hitter has a fear of being jammed. And your real good hitters are when you're going well and you trust your hands. You're not afraid that inside pitch is going to eat you up because you trust your hands and the quickness that'll get to the ball.
A 2-2 pitch. A grounder pulled foul. About this time last night, we weren't sure about Albert Pujols. There, the stadium had been let out. You're thinking the worst. Would he be able to play? And here he is back in there tonight.
And in the back of our minds, too, we said, okay, he got through last night, but will he, wake up this morning with the ankle swollen and unavailable? And I talked to him briefly about it today, and I said how scary it was, and he was in full agreement.
I bet. It looked scary. Looked painful. 2-2 pitch to Ludwig. And a swing and a miss. He strikes out. 2 in the inning, 3 in the game for Bronson Arroyo. 1-0 as we move to the 4th. brought to you by Schnucks. June 2nd of 1999, the Cardinals draft Albert Pujols. And probably the best pick in decades for any team. Remarkable numbers for Albert Pujols. He was the 402nd overall pick, and that happened in the 13th round. And of the 15 players that the Cardinals picked before Albert, really interesting to take a look. 6 made it to the majors, 3 have won a World Series title. Chris Duncan was the 46th pick. He's with the Cardinals, and they're the guys that have been around. Josh Pierce out of baseball along with Ben Johnson. Jimmy Jurnell. Yes. A lot of people expected big things from him, never materialized. Coco Crisp and Albert Pujols at 402. That is Rip Fair. Down that third base line, Brandon Phillips with a double.
I think he had a little trouble getting it off the side wall, but he was going to have a double either way. Anytime you see Rick have a chance to come up with a ball cleanly and throw out a runner or make that throw, you'd love to see it. But there you see the little trouble, and Phillips with the leadoff double.
Ramon Hernandez.
There's Lou Brock.
In many ways, isn't that what makes Cardinal baseball so special, to see the Hall of Famers that come to the ballpark still? Up the middle, Phillips held up at third. First and third, nobody out. Once you show up, you might see Stan the Man or Lou Brock, Bob Gibson.
An adjustment on that pitch and hits it right up the middle. Phillips, with nobody out, is held up as Nix is swinging a hot bat, and Kobe a little, laid back a little bit on that ball.
Never forget Jamie Wright when he came to St. Louis. His first day in town, Stan the Man walked in the clubhouse. He said, "Are you kidding me? That's Stan Musial." Those are the kind of things that happen with the Cardinals. First and third, nobody out. Nix with a high fly ball out to left center. Who wants it? It'll be Rasmus. He'll make the catch. Looked like both were hesitating out there. This game is tied at 1-1. So the RBI for Nix is 13th, and we're tied up 1-1. So a pair of singles, sac fly by Nix, and here's Alex Gonzalez. Gonzalez hitting just .217.
Cardinals doing that good job of getting an early lead, but not adding on.
Hit and run was on. A throw to second, and safe.
Missed the tag. Missed the tag. As Schumacher got the throw in front of the bag and kind of put the tag back, and Hernandez goes to the outer half. Look at this. Fires the throw there, beats him in there, but he misses the tag.
Exmo Cam brought to you by Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill. That's the right call.
Yeah, it's the correct call. A lot of times it's the phantom play, and if you're in the vicinity but Brad Thompson, yeah, watch him standing right there. And good thing he had reflexes and got down.
A lot of times if the ball beats that runner to the bag, this level, swipe tag, whether or not he puts that tag on, that runner is out.
And that's probably what Tony is arguing. But here, you've got a replacement umpire out there. So he's basically a minor league umpire. Somebody's on vacation or some situation. DJ Rayburn gets the call, and he's going to make sure he's going to play it more by the book than somebody else.
Here's a 1-1 pitch in the dirt.
Either way, he's going to get an argument, and the only thing he can say is, hey, your guy didn't tag him.
I was doing something kind of fun on the post-game show tonight, unveiling 16 Cardinals championship teams, and they're going to have like a little tournament of champions, so to speak, with the 16 teams of the St. Louis Cardinals on the post-game show.
So Ricky will wear clothing from each era?
I don't think we're going to have that. He's not going.
It's not going to last that long.
He's not going into the future to predict what's happening. He's not going to read us a poem as he did last year. We're just going to get Ricky simply in his powder blue Cardinal jersey from the 1980s.
Oh.
Time is called. That's coming up on the post-game show. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, and a runner at second. Out in front, pulls it foul. Gonzalez made a real fine play with his glove defensively. Hard hit ball from Albert Pujols, although a run did score.
Wasn't it Alex Gonzalez that the Florida Marlins felt that Renteria was expendable?
He was one of them, yeah. Came through. 2-2. Little floater out to left center. That's going to drop for a base hit. And Rasmus will get it back in quickly. So base hit for Gonzalez. And the 3rd hit in this inning.
Not hit well, and now the jam shot, but he muscles it out there effectively in front of Colby Rasmus. This is where you need your ground ball double play.
Rosales, first time up, hit into a fielder's choice. 0 for 1. On the year, hitting just .237.
I didn't go to that Cincinnati trip, but I did see him hit the home run, and he got around the bases in 11 seconds. It's nice to see someone just put their head down and run as hard as they could around the bases and didn't want to draw any extra attention to him.
Scott Rowland was one of those guys.
Well, Scotty would do it a little more often than Rosales.
He's done it twice this year. 0-1 pitch.
Haven't looked lately, but Scott was off to a great start.
So were the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Then they had a winless road trip. They lost 9 straight. Such a tough division over the course of 6 months to compete with Boston and New York, and now even Tampa Bay. Toronto 2 games out, Boston a game out. New York, very hot team, 9 games above 500 at 30-21. Here's the ground ball, and that's a fair ball off the glove of Thurston. Rosales will end up at second base, and Cincinnati is on top. It's 2-1. For Thompson, a little bleeder, and now that base hit.
That's right. Here he's trying to backhand it, trying to make the miraculous play, and doesn't knock it down at the very least. Look at the umpire. He does a great job, Jim Joyce, of getting out of the way of that ball. Making the call and hurtling over it all in one motion. Kind of a Goose Gossage look-alike, Jim Joyce.
So they will walk here, Hannigan, and deal with Arroyo, who doubled his first time up.
Arroyo can swing the bat. He's got 4 lifetime home runs. But you've got a sinker baller out there, and Tony's banking that he can turn 2.
Cueto and Loge tomorrow. The former Red going for the Cardinals.
It's good to see that Kyle Loesch is feeling better and going to make that start. This was his day to start today after they skipped him once with that forearm stiffness.
So big time chance to help himself here. So E5 and an RBI for Rosales.
He didn't touch that ball, did he?
He did not. I didn't think so.
No. But
so here is Arroyo. Bases loaded. Thurston is in along with Pujols. Middle infielders about midway. Breaking ball and a strike. Thompson's pitch count will be up to 50 after this next delivery.
stretching in the Cardinal bullpen, but no activity yet.
Back to Thompson, to the plate for one, on to first, double play. Boy, did he need that. 1 to 2 to 3 in the double play. TNT Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Cardinals have been out hit 5-2, and they trail now 2-1 as we move to the bottom half of the fourth here in St. Louis. 2-1 Cincinnati. Rick Ankiel leads it off, followed by Molina and Joe Thurston. Rick, his first time up, flied out to right. That ended the first inning. Arroyo now pitching for the first time with a lead. Strike one on Rick, who's in left field tonight. Outfielders are interchangeable parts in many respects, so Ankiel can play all three outfield positions. That's that pitch that's been getting him an awful lot, and some of these younger hitters, that off-speed, a changeup.
And Rick has had success in the past against Arroyo, so he gets the nod tonight.
1-2.
And again, the catcher wanted that ball up, trying to go up the ladder, getting him to chase.
Rick is a free agent to be after this year.
Bounce this one.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Curveball looks like the changeup.
And he got him. Couldn't pull the trigger. Ankiel strikes out. And Rick is 0 for 2. 4 strikeouts for Bronson Arroyo.
Puts down the 2, and then he puts 4, which will wiggle as the changeup. And right there, and Rick can't pull the trigger.
Molina fly to center. Mentioned last night how he and his brother could be representing the National League, the catcher position for the All-Star game here in St. Louis.
Currently leading the balloting for catchers.
65 already for Arroyo, and last night their bullpen was quite the story after Volquez only gave them 1 inning.
bullpen has been very good on this road trip. Just an ERA of just over 1. And then remember, they lost 3 straight games in Milwaukee before winning last night.
You know, here's something to think about in talking about the All-Star game that maybe gets overlooked. We talk so much about Manny Ramirez and missing 50 games, and he shouldn't be in the All-Star game. Well, you know, truly this is not an exhibition anymore, because it does count for something. If I'm the National League manager and I need to get 1 inning, why not take a hard look at Chris Carpenter? Even though he hasn't pitched a lot, but if I'm looking for the best guys to give me a chance to win, Chris Carpenter would be at the top of my list.
And he's got a chance to pick up a few more wins between there. And, you know, if Arroyo's the leader at 7, Carpenter's got 3. He's 3-0. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility that he would be considered just from his record.
2-2. Down the right field line. Long way to go for Bruce in foul territory, and makes the catch. But it is something to think about. I'm not saying it will happen, but if you look at it one way, look at it the other. A guy that hasn't played a lot because of injury, but certainly could help the team.
Well, the problem I have is when it counts, and you're talking about the All-Star game, the managers are still trying to get everybody into it. And, you know, when you think about it, there's only a handful of guys that's going to even be on that All-Star team that it's going to affect ultimately the home field advantage. So it doesn't make sense to me.
Joe Madden has been great in talking about St. Louis and the praise of the ballpark as they were here last year with Tampa Bay.
I got a chance to meet him. I first met him when he was on Mike Scioscia's staff with the Angels. And he is a big Cardinal fan.
Remember, it was Stan the Man Day, one of those, it was the afternoon game, I think, either Saturday or Sunday.
I tried to arrange a meeting, you know, because Stan was at the ballpark, and I don't know if it ever happened. I kind of doubt it, but you know, I talked to our buddy Dick Sitzman and told him that, you know, if there was a possibility, he'd love to see Joe Madden have the opportunity to meet Stan, because that would have been probably the second greatest thing to baseball-wise in his career, other than managing a World Series.
And he's, you know, kind of like Tony, where he studies the history of organizations and individuals in the game, and he knew all about the history of the Cardinals and the great players and the Hall of Famers. But he made a point to be out in the dugout when Stan was on the field and going around in the golf cart. 2-2. Outside, full count on Joe Thurston. Brad Thompson is on deck. We're in the 4th and a 2-1 game. There's a base hit into right center. Thurston just had to wait on that pitch. He's 1 for 2.
Thurston led the International League with hits last year, and he had 3 hits last night. Comes up with another one here. His average is over 260 again.
Roy Halladay with his 9th win already. We'll see him in St. Louis. Complete game as Toronto beats the Angels. Angels have not been a very good team this year, at least expectations wise. They trailed Texas at the start of play tonight by 4.5 games, and they're now 25-25.
I think that you know, the death of
Nick Adenhard,
that's hurt them, but I think in the long run you're going to see that team get their act together, and be very shocked if the second half, or at least in September, they don't overtake whoever's in the lead, if it's Texas or wherever.
And that catches Hannigan. Got beat up last night and takes one again, a foul tip. 1-2. You know, Oakland has been a huge disappointment out there. They're 19-30. They went with all their young pitching and said, all right, we're going to load up with an everyday lineup of veterans. Matt Holliday, Giambi. just to name a couple, and went with young pitching. It has not paid off.
Like Kennedy the other day.
He's been great.
He hit 2 home runs, including an upper decker. He was batting in the high 300s, closer to 4.
2-2 pitch. Foul. The Cardinals are paying Kennedy not to be in their uniform. Gloss is out, and Green is on the DL.
It's only about 25% of the payroll.
So that hurts. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Albert's the other 25%.
And he's due a raise in a couple of years.
Sometimes you forget there's increments of it goes up each year when he's under contract too.
Strikeout number 5 for Arroyo. It's 2-1 Cincinnati. Ability. Kyle Loge looks to get back on the hill after being skipped in his scheduled start last Friday. That was at San Francisco. He's been dealing with that forearm issue, and he'll get the start tomorrow night for the Cardinals at 6:30 here on Fox Sports Midwest. Understanding is there is a little rain in the area. We had a huge thunderstorm this afternoon. Came through St. Louis.
Had to evacuate one of the downtown hotels, as it did some roof damage to it. A lot of power outages out in West County.
Now, you talked about Johnny Bench yesterday and Pete Rose and the other big hitters on the Big Red Machine. Rose, Morgan, Tony Perez, Johnny Bench. Now you take a look at Jay Bruce, Brandon Phillips, Joey Votto, Ramon Hernandez.
Not quite the Big Red Machine.
Not quite. Things have changed. Here's an 0-1 pitch. Strike 2 on Willie Taveras.
The thing about that Big Red Machine is they didn't stop hitting until they turned the lights out.
They were awesome. Sparky Anderson. 52 pitches for Thompson here tonight. Ground ball. Taveras can fly. Brendan quickly over to first. And there's one away. Thompson, you know what, for having all that time off, has pitched well.
Absolutely, and usually does when he gets the opportunity. This is where he prefers to be. Start out the game saying it would be quite remarkable if he can give you 5 innings. And I think, you know, he can go beyond that if he continues this pace.
Strike on the outside corner to Jay Bruce.
He has not, you know, had a outing at the major league level more than 3 innings. and that was 16 days ago.
Bruce is lined out and grounded out.
He did pitch or make 2 starts at Memphis, at late April, early May, and went 5 innings in each of those starts.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Fly ball out to left. Going out and Keel, and he'll make the catch against the wall. Carried a little bit further than I thought. You have to wonder what goes through his mind on some of those balls near the wall.
Well, you go back there and you can feel the change of surface underneath your feet, going from grass to the warning track, and with a couple of collisions he had. And don't forget the one in Washington 2 days before he rammed his head in the one here. I mean, he's got to be a little gun shy or thinking about it as he's making that transition from grass to dirt.
So 2 outs. Brandon Phillips led off the 4th with a double, came around to score. 1 for 2. He's also grounded out to 3rd. Pulls that foul past 3rd. Nothing in 2.
Comes off of his bat.
Sure does. 0-2 the count on Phillips, second baseman for the Cincinnati Reds. We're in the 5th. 2 outs. 2-1 Reds. They got both their runs in the 4th.
Trevor Miller now throwing in the Cardinals bullpen.
Popped up. Ludwig will give chase, but it's out of play. You figure that Miller would be up for Lance Nix if it gets to him. It's 2 away. Ramon Hernandez on deck.
You see Trevor.
Both lefties very good last night. Oh, 2 pitch to Phillips. Astros trail in their game. It's 2-1 against the Rockies in the 6th. Al told you 10-1 the Marlins over Milwaukee. That's in the top of the 7th. 5-5 Giants in Washington. Randy Johnson will go for win number 300 tomorrow against the Nationals. And that hits Phillips.
It's Lincecum tonight in that 5-5 game.
Cubs lead the Atlanta Braves in the bottom of the 9th 5-3. So this could be another game in which the Cardinals could be in first place after the night is through.
Ball just runs in on Phillips, gets him in the jersey.
Thompson has 1 walk tonight, and that was the intentional pass of Hannigan to bring up Arroyo, and then he got the inning-ending double play.
Cardinals pitching staff is doing a great job. They lead the major leagues in ERA, and one of the reasons why, very few walks and not allowing a lot of home runs.
And you go back to that series against Milwaukee here at Busch, and all the walks that they had, 20 plus in those 3 games.
And once he got through that series, it just was a total reversal as the pitching staff, led by Pinheiro in that 3-hit shutout, and then they've been on quite a roll during that time and really have lowered that ERA to the best in the major leagues.
Wonder how Shannon and Rooney are doing tonight at the Champions Club. We'll be there on June 17th. Slowly hit left side. Thurston. He'll go across the diamond. Midway through 5, Cincinnati. They lead it 2-1. Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by AT&T. Switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Busch Stadium in St. Louis, standing out with you and our Fox Sports Midwest crew. It's 2-1.
Jason LaRue going down to the bullpen area. And the Cardinals need to get some offense.
Ninth place hitter Brendan Ryan. Then the top of the lineup is Arroyo. Has struck out 5. Been saying that too much lately, haven't we? Need
sure
some
have.
offense.
You know, I mean, pitching staff has been doing a great job, and you know, we just don't want to point fingers, because there's going to be a time where they're going to struggle, like they did right before they went on this great run. But you need some more balance.
You watch Arroyo. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. Really an even-keeled pitcher out there. Doesn't show a ton of emotion. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pittsburgh, a final now. They beat the Mets 3-1. 1-2. Brendan Ryan here, and then Schumacher and Colby Rasmus. If anybody can reach, then Albert Pujols. Fouled back. You look at how Dusty Baker approached Albert Pujols his second time up. We're not going to pitch to him. And I think more and more teams will continue to do that.
That's right. I mean, there are some clubs that go after him, like San Francisco did, and he had a great series. But San Francisco also won the series because of their good pitching.
Popped up right side. Near the Cardinal dugout and a play. Hernandez there for the first out. Here's Schumacher as he walked his first time up and then scored. Struck out swinging back in the third, but arguably one of the best at bats of the night. It was 12 pitches. So he made him work. Pitch count already is at 86 here for Arroyo.
Well, when you throw 12 pitches in one, you get the 5 strikeouts. You're throwing a little bit more, and it looks like a gentle rain beginning to fall.
The thing about Arroyo, though, he's got one of those rubber arms. I mean, he can go forever, it seems like.
Well, he's been so durable since he's come to the Reds. You know, he has made more starts than anybody in the major leagues. And he's second in innings pitched to Aaron Harang, his teammate. We'll see against Carpenter on Thursday.
0-2.
Mentioned his last 2 starts for a complete game and an 8-inning affair.
0-2 pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the Cardinal leadoff man.
Changes speed so much. A lot of times he doesn't throw strikes. Don't want to help him out by chasing pitches out of the strike zone. Throwing 90 pitches now, 60 of which are strikes.
And he goes the other way with it. They look to fight that off, and almost an inside-out swing.
Well, he really didn't get it quite far enough inside, but as you said, a good inside-out stroke.
6 is a serious number. When the Cardinals score 6, you get a 20-ounce coffee, fountain, or frozen drink for just $1. The next day at On the Run and Mobile. Win or lose, when the Cardinals score 6, you score 25-cent drinks at On the Run.
Brad Thompson's night is through as Trevor Miller has gotten up again. So let's get him at least off the hook and preferably put him in line for a victory. Did an excellent job as a smart starter tonight.
Upstairs to Colby, who is lined out to center and also doubled. Pujols on deck, and with the rotation that Tony La Russa was using prior to all the injuries with the outfielders, this is the guy right now. Last few games, he's been swinging the hottest bat.
And I think he's going to get the bulk of the playing time because of it.
Grounds it. I'm going to say that's a foul ball. They should.
Yeah, they should have said it, and they did say it. Well, the home plate umpire has that call. It's not the first base umpire until it crosses the first base bag, and they field it in front of the bag, and you can see in foul territory. So come on back, Skip.
1 ball, 1 strike. Rasmus fights this one off, but pops it up to short. Brings in Pujols. Pujols with an RBI. Number 44 back in the first. He intentionally walked him in the third.
You know how Lou Piniella, manager of the Cubs, will sit there and tell you, I'm a great Pujols fan. He'll get maybe 2 swings a game, and we'll put him on 2 times a game.
What Lou Piniella's doing now is the Braves have tied it up in the 9th against his team. It's now 5-5.
Not well.
Didn't talk to the media at one point after a game last week. A 1-0 pitch to Pujols. 2 balls, no strikes. Now you get the feeling that Hannigan's out to say, all right, 2-0. Don't worry about it. Even if we put a runner in scoring position, let's get somebody else instead of Pujols.
Just a reminder, you know, this is Albert. He's not going to beat you. You know, somebody else has to beat you in this lineup. And just a reminder too, there's 2 outs, so if you can get the next guy, there's no harm or damage done.
Here's a 2-0. Pujols rips it there into the corner. Schumacher on his way to third, and he will score as the ball gets away, and this game is tied at 2-2. Pujols does it again. He's got both RBIs tonight, and a 2-2 game here in the 5th. And Dusty Baker is saying, why are we pitching to Albert Pujols?
Well, about the time you think that a young catcher doesn't have to remind a veteran pitcher, you know, then you kind of question, why are you throwing a strike in this situation and allow him to tie the game? There's the miscue out there, but with 2 outs, I'm sure Okinda was going to send Schumacher all the way.
But again, why?
I mean, that's why you don't let Albert give that good a pitch to Albert.
Ludwig out to left, and this will be caught by Nix. Pujols ties it up. He's done it all himself tonight. It's 2-2.
Tonight, you get Brad Thompson off the hook, and these two had history coming in. A .310 average, 13 for 42 against Arroyo. 3 of those 13 hits have been home runs. He didn't hit a home run tonight, but he has in the past. There you see June the 6th of 07. He gets a home run. And here's last September when the Cardinals banged around 13 hits, a career high against Arroyo, and Albert was in the middle of that. So Brad Thompson is off the hook. He gives you 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. They're both earned. He hit a man, and he intentionally passed a batter. Turns it over to Trevor Miller as our Chevy called to the bullpen. And we'll see how long he goes as there's a right-hander warming up. But great job by Brad Thompson, who had not pitched for 16 days, and gives you 5 solid innings.
That's a foul ball.
You know, that's all you're trying to do. You know, any pitcher out there is trying to give you an opportunity to win, and Brad did that.
Saw that shot there of Adam Wainwright. There's the numbers of Trevor Miller. I asked him today, how often do you see the 2006 either Game 7 or World Series championship? And quickly he said, not enough. He loves to watch it. And he said for the first time he was watching MLB, the new channel, the new baseball network, and they had Game 7 on of the Mets series. So it was the first time he had seen it in its entirety, and he said it wasn't like I didn't know the outcome or what was going to happen. He said, but the whole time he was so nervous, sweaty palms, wiping his hands on his pant leg, and he said it was just an incredible feeling. And then watching that, he said, I still can't get over that's me out there doing what every kid would want to do, close out a pennant and then winning the World Series.
Well, think what he's going to be doing 40, 50 years from now, watching that with grandkids.
What a feeling that must be. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ooh, Nix gave up on it, but just missed inside. Talk about how Trevor can be so tough on these lefties, and once again he is here in 2009. And that misses. So a leadoff walk. Not what he wanted to do. Very, very, and I mean very light drizzle here at the ballpark. There's Gonzalez, who has singled. He's 1 for 2.
And we can make a double switch. Albert's going to the dugout, but he's not part of the double switch.
I would hope not.
As Stavanoa is going to go to the outfield, and Jason Mott will come into this game.
Stavanoa will go to left. And this is our Chevy call to the bullpen. We'll tell you about the changes when we come back. ERA now is at 3. Take away that first series against Pittsburgh, as we've talked about, and his ERA is just over 1. So he'll come in with a runner at first. It's a double switch. Nick Stavanoa moves to the eighth spot in the lineup for Tony La Russa, and Mott replaces Ludwig in his spot in the lineup in the cleanup spot. So Stavanoa takes over in left field, and Keel will move from left to right. Miller came in, saw one hitter, and walked him. Knicks a short lead at first. 0-2. Not much messing around when Mott comes in. You know what's coming.
You take away his first two outings and forget about the ERA. Just his whole demeanor, and slowly that velocity has increased as the temperatures have heated up. But he looks like a force to be reckoned with on the mound.
Double play ball. Brendan Ryan. Schumacher on to first. Double play. 6-4-3. Good example right there. Even though it wasn't a bang bang play at first, how Schumacher's arm can make up for his footwork around the bag.
Nice little pull it here. Yeah, nice little feed as he tries to roll over on an outside pitch. Right there to Schu. Takes his time, loads up, and then you get that superior arm strength from Schumacher completing the double play.
There's Rosales with 2 outs in a 2-2 game. E5 RBI back in the fourth, and a fielder's choice in the second. 0 for 2. That RBI was his 11th. 2 balls, no strikes.
We talked earlier about how Bronson Arroyo has, really gets a full extension back behind, and how Mott just throws right from his ear, short arming the ball. One reaches completely back, and the other one just barely takes it beyond the back of his head.
2-1. 2-2. Just joined us. Brad Thompson gave the Cardinals 5 innings and really pitched well.
Pitched very well. That's all you can ask, is to give your team a chance to win. And Brad hadn't pitched in 16 days and went out there and gave you 5 quality innings.
2-2 with 2 outs and nobody on in a 2-2 game. Here's the slider, trying to improve that pitch, and he says it's a pitch that he has by feel, depending on how he feels that night. The grip of the baseball, constantly working on it.
And always need to show it, but sometimes he doesn't need it. His velocity, according to the stadium gun, is not, where you would think it would be tonight. But he's still, his mannerisms out there, get the ball, throw the ball, very animated.
Wonder what's coming.
Fastball away. Not always hits a spot, but he's kind of been in that 92, 93 mile an hour range rather than 97 to 98. Hitters will tell you how good the fastball is, won't they?
Oh yeah, they can catch up or not.
Here's a slider.
3-2. Right center. That'll stay in the ballpark, and Rasmus is there. What is he saying into that glove? It's 2-2. Comes to tickets, you deserve Major League service, so go online to StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals and the only site with Fan Protect guarantee. Ankiel does not chase. Arroyo still in this game. We're in the bottom of the 6th, and it's 2-2. Ricky Ankiel, Yadier Molina, Joe Thurston. Anybody can reach the Nick Stavanoa. What are you seeing right now with Ricky Ankiel?
Just can't keep his weight back. But I mean, we saw Barry Zito throw 84, 85 mile-an-hour fastballs by him. I know he's really struggling on the changeup and slow breaking balls, but really fighting it.
Chops it to second. Easy play for Phillips. Ankiel tonight is 0 for 3. And it brings in Molina. Baseball hit the dirt, so they throw that one out. New one is in.
Raining a lot harder right now, but not hard enough to stop play.
Some of the folks start to head for cover. That means that Champions Club will be busy tonight. Perfect night for Mike and John to be in there.
I think I got the advanced forecast that it's going to rain on the 17th, but not hard enough to stop play, but perfect for our broadcast from the Champions Club.
We're looking forward to it. We've done a few events out of that, and always have been impressed.
I know how we can sell some tickets to the Champions Club for June 17th. Everybody gets to meet Tim Garcia.
A thrill to be sure.
They must think that he doesn't really exist, and sometimes helping us, we know he doesn't.
Tim shaking his head over there, Al. Better make amends. Molina hit by the pitch.
That's not called for.
So Yadier hit by the pitch with one out.
Trying to come inside a little bit. Ball gets away. See the ball just take off and
so here is Thurston.
It's Tim Garcia.
Joe is 1 for 2 on the night.
That's our promotion right there. Meet Tim Garcia.
He got pretty dressed up for the game tonight too.
You seen his shorts?
It's tough to see. He's got camouflage shorts and a t-shirt.
There's times when he's hard to see, period.
One and 0. One out runner at first. Short lead there by Molina. Thurston takes a ball outside. 2-0. So finals now in baseball as Tampa Bay beats Kansas City 6-2. Mentioned that Toronto over the Angels 6-4. Pittsburgh over the Mets 3-1. They're now in 10 innings. Cubs in Atlanta tied at 5-5. Catches the outside corner.
He's flopping it up there, and the hitter gives up on it.
They've got a right-hander getting loose in the pen. That's 108 pitches tonight here for Bronson Arroyo.
It's Fisher, the right-hander, Carlos Fisher.
Ground ball, base hit into right. Molina to second. Molina on his way to third. He's in there, and Thurston winds up at second. Second and third with one out.
Got away with it. Good throw. He's thrown out at third base, but Thurston swinging that hot bat. 3 hits last night. 2 more again here. Paying attention. He sees the throw going to third, so he scoots over and gets himself into scoring position. So ball bounces through. He looks back. Look at your base coach. Of course, Okenda would have said stay at second.
The throw is on line. He probably would have been out.
Oh, definitely out.
So second and third, Stabenow is the hitter, and the infield is going to be drawn in here.
But, many times we say that even at the big league level, if you push the issue and challenge the defense, it's usually not going to come up with that good throw.
Stabenow has had some key at-bats in the last couple of weeks. First pitch at 68 miles an hour and a strike.
See those 9 RBIs. He's got 3 game winners since he's come up, and when Ludwig went on the disabled list.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. Stabenow out to center. Well hit. Over Taveras. He misjudged it. 2 runs will score. Stabenow stops at second base. The Cardinals have regained the lead, and it's 4-2.
You're absolutely right, Dan. Taveras, for whatever reason, misplays that ball, because he knew it was deep enough for the sac fly, but he gets one better as he gets a double, gets himself in scoring position, and drives in 2. He's had 11 RBIs in just a couple weeks. Down and in, he gets the fly ball out there, but he just kind of casually went after it, and the ball just kept on carrying. As Taveras misplayed that one. And Dusty will make a pitching change.
Arroyo knocked out of the game. The Cardinals with a 4-2 lead here in the bottom of the 6th. One out here in the bottom of the 6th, and a new pitcher is in, Carlos Fisher, and for the key number for the Cardinals as they lead it. And when scoring 4 or more runs, 21-8 this year for the Cardinals, so that's why that was circled by the telestrator there. 4 runs for the Cardinals. They lead it 4-2.
Doesn't mean you can stop there, keep on piling on. Cardinals have used 11 rookies, and I think Fisher's the only rookie that the Reds have had this season.
6'4", 225 pounds.
Or say a guy that's made his debut.
Only his 4th appearance, as he got a generous strike there on Brendan Ryan. Rain continues to fall here at Busch Stadium. The 0-1 pitch to Brendan. Stabenow, the runner at second base. He could have another game-winning hit and RBI. Stabenow.
Said, a couple weeks he's got 11 RBIs and potentially his 4th game winner.
That'll advance Stamanoa as that goes to the screen. No one is covering the plate. Now Fisher does. Not thinking out there.
6'4", 225 from California, and he bounces this one, and Hannigan tried to throw his hip up there. Pitcher fails to cover the plate. He comes racing in, and with one out, another golden opportunity with the infield drawn in for Brendan Ryan to pick up an RBI.
Had this last night and rounded out to first, and this time he strikes out. It's up to Schumacher, so the infield will go back to regular depth with 2 outs. Big strikeout there for Fisher. Runner at third, 2 outs. See Ryan and his frustration as he walked away, realizing, as you said, Al, a golden opportunity was wasted with runner at third and only 1 out.
He's had a few opportunities of late and just maybe really pressing as he was overly aggressive, swinging a pitch out of the strike zone. When you're in an RBI situation, instead of being over anxious, that's where you got to just really relax. Just welcome that opportunity, but relax. Pressure's on the pitcher.
Here's an 0-2 pitch. And that gets away. Stamanoa to the plate. He will score. 5-2 as Fisher is uncorked 2 wild pitches. That advanced Stamanoa to third, and now he comes around to score. 5-2 Cardinals.
See this one here. Another breaking ball well out in front of the plate, and just not the Cardinals' way of blocking that ball in the dirt, and it costs the Reds a run. You can imagine how frustrating that would be after seeing, Pagnazzi, Molina, Matheny, all of our Cardinals catchers.
Up the middle and a base hit. Well, Dusty Baker also has to be watching a little bit the body language of Fisher after the second wild pitch. Head was down. You could see he was looking into the dugout. He was frustrated. Shoulders were slumping a little bit. And then after that base hit, immediately once it got by him, he started to slump the shoulders again.
Very good point, Dan, because a lot of times, anybody can look good and have great poise when things are going well. But you learn an awful lot when things are going poor.
Especially with the young guy.
Sure.
We'll see what kind of fight he's got in him.
To be quite honest, you don't know about a young player until they do fail. And then they'll tell you, is it going to be something that they can just put aside like Mott did after opening day, or is it going to be something that'll just take them right down the drain?
That's hammered down the right field line, but foul. Closes the book on Arroyo. 7 hits, 5 runs, and all of them were earned here tonight. Colby just seems to be a little bit more locked in here the last couple of nights. 3 hits last night. Tonight he's lined out to center. He's doubled his first time up and then popped out to short. I don't know if you agree, but to me it looks like he may have closed his stance up just slightly. We've seen him stay on more balls like we did earlier in that double to left center. Could be wrong, but
no, you could be right too. The one thing I know is it sure makes a difference when they turn the calendar.
Yeah. This vantage point, it just looks to me he's a little bit more closed up. Meaning that that front leg is more towards the plate, front shoulder in a little bit more.
A lot of times what if you get the center field shot, what it means with a more closed stance, you'll see more of his number. And if he has an open stance, you see more of the front of his shirt.
1 ball and 2 strikes. They set up inside. pitch right there is one I'm sure he would love back. Nice play made by a fan to our left. 2 outs and a runner at first. 1-2 the count. Runner goes. Throw down to second, and they got him. Schumacher is gunned down at second. 2 and the 6th. Big inning for the Cardinals, though. It's 5-2. By the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Brian Barton into the ball game. He's at third, and Thurston shifts from third to second. Second inning of work here for Mott. And Schumacher is now in left. Last 7 1/3, 2 hits and only 9 strikeouts. And I say only because I said that to Jason Mott a couple weeks ago, and he said, well, they'll be up there, don't worry, we'll get the strikeouts going. But he's had tremendous numbers since that opening series.
And last year he kind of led the minor leagues in strikeouts per 9 innings.
This is Ryan Hannigan. 1-1 pitch. Double switch paid off for Tony La Russa as Stavanoa came through and picks up the key hit in this ball game tonight.
That's right. Mott in his second inning of work came in with a runner at first base, a walk to Nix and got a double play, and then a fly out to the center. Jason trying to get the mud out of his cleats as he attacks the thingamajiggy. The only thing they've done for the pitcher in the last since '68.
Grounded to short. By the way, it stopped raining here at the ballpark. That's good to see. And there's one away.
What alarms me, though, is we saw Bill Finley, the head groundskeeper, go out and talk to the crew chief. There's that. The only thing they've done for a pitcher is they've given him that rubber eyes spike deal to clean your spikes, then it doesn't work. The old tongue depressor is so much better.
Chris Dickerson, who was in the leadoff spot last night, will pinch hit here. 5-2 Cardinals here in the 7th. Up and in. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Taken for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. One thing that stands out about this strike zone tonight, I was about to say it, and then he hit that low strike, is the fact that the strike zone has been fairly low tonight.
It's Brian Runge, who is a 3-generation umpiring family.
I think it's been fair, though.
Yes.
Strike zone.
Yeah.
Cardinals could move into a first place tie if they hold on tonight. And if well, now it's become a final as Marlins have defeated Milwaukee.
But you thought San Francisco with a good pitching trio go into Washington and whoop up on the Nationals, and Lincecum loses tonight. Tomorrow's Randy Johnson going for number 300, and then Matt Cain, who's 6-1.
You just don't know what you're going to get from Randy Johnson. You know, every time out they're trying to build in some off days for him and stretch out that off time between starts. Mention how well he has pitched since the age of 30, where most of baseball has looked at the hitters the age of 30, but what they've done beyond. But how about Randy Johnson, what he's done? Remarkable. 2-2. Lie into the seats. That was 99 at our gun and the gun here at the ballpark.
We've seen him hit triple digits before, but I believe that's the first time we've seen 99 this year.
Sometimes there's a difference with our gun and the stadium gun. Not much, 1 or 2 miles per hour, but both had 99. 3-2. And Mott has taken on a role of great importance for Tony La Russa, as Franklin has established that 9th inning. Who gets you to the 9th? And a lot of times it's been Mott.
It's a little interesting. Most of the time he's been your 8th inning man, if you know, are winning the game.
So a walk to Dickerson. They pull the tarp off the mound out of the bullpen, and somebody is going to start to get loose for the Cardinals.
I think Reyes is going to be one of them.
Out to visit Duncan to give Reyes some time to throw. $35,507 here tonight. 35507. Here's Taveras.
There's Reyes.
Taveras just never seemed comfortable on that fly ball hit by Stavinoa.
No, I think he was surprised that that ball carried as deep as it did, as he kind of didn't get a good start on it, just kind of casually went back on it and then tried to catch up to it and never got there.
And he will play shallow with his very good speed, and he was playing fairly shallow but just never got a good jump.
There's the ball we're talking about. Is see, he just didn't take off right away.
Came in a little bit too. Mott has gotten a double play, but it would have to be a hard hit ball with Taveras running.
He's kind of had the flu bug for yesterday. I think that's why he missed the game. So maybe he's still feeling some of the effects.
Runner at first. 1-0 pitch to Taveras. 1-1. Twice he has grounded out, once to short, other time to third. He's also flied out to left.
On a double play, probably his last batter.
Jay Bruce on deck, hits from the left side. The lefty getting loose. Reyes at strike 2.
27 pitches thrown here tonight, so many times that put him in jeopardy of not being available for tomorrow.
This is outside, 2-2. Yankees win again. Battle of first place teams. They beat Texas 12-3. Yankees now 10 games above 500. That's upstairs. 3-2. It's a pitch away from walking the potential tying run to the plate. Popped up. Big out here. Who wants it? Thurston calling for it. Makes the catch.
So Tony makes the switch. Apparently he is not going to do so.
See Molina looking into the dugout to see if he will make that switch. That's not the case. Not yet.
Nick's lefty is 3 batters away. And now he's told him to go out and talk to him. So they did get the affirmative that Reyes is ready and he'll make the pitching change now.
Inning and 2/3 by Mudd. Reyes coming in. Bruce at the plate. 5-2 Cardinals. As he completes his warm-up tosses out of the bullpen, his 26th appearance, 0-1, and opponent's hitting just 236. But so many times we don't even look at those numbers. Just look and see what he's done against lefties, and it's been very good.
And they are 6 for 31 and 194 average against Denny's. He leads the Cards with his 26 appearances, and Bruce, who's among the leaders in home runs, will stand here at the plate. He's hit 14 home runs, has 30 RBIs, but his batting average is in the low 220s.
0 for 3 tonight. Runner at first. Cardinals have allowed just 5 hits after 5 strong innings by Brad Thompson. And he's the one that gave up the 5 hits. Saw a walk by Miller, and then another walk by Mott, but no hits against the Cardinal bullpen thus far.
Quick step off and throw as Dennis Reyes almost timed Dickerson walking off. Clellan warming up for the Cardinals, Burton for the Reds.
Up and in. 2 balls and no strikes.
I'm just going to be this one batter with Phillips on deck. So McClellan is warming up, and that's what the phone is ringing, is telling him hurry up. We're only in the 7th.
The 2-0 pitch to Bruce. In there for a strike. Bruce with a line out to right, grounded out to second, and a fly out to left. The 2-1 delivery. And that scoots away. The wild pitch charge to Reyes.
This ball usually doesn't get by Yachty, as he's a little casual. And just trying to drop the glove down, and it hops over it.
A 3-1. Bruce pops it up to Thurston. Time to stretch. 5-2 Cardinals. To the bottom of the 7th. Let's go pitch by pitch. Jay Bruce facing the lefty Reyes.
Well, Reyes kind of throws one down the way. Good pick, Albert. Then he gives 0-2 as the ball takes off. Then he gets in the strike zone, 2-1. Then he throws a slider down there, gets by, and then another breaking ball, and he gets underneath it and pops it up. I guess they put Balquez on the disabled list.
They did,
because Burton has been recalled. He just was sent down, but because of an injury, he gets a reprieve and gets back to the roster.
So Rasmus will lead it off, followed by Pujols, and then we shall see a pinch hitter. Colby is 1 for 3. Doubled, lined out, and also popped out to short. First pitch by Burton. Here it comes. Pujols with a couple of RBIs tonight. He had the first 2 for St. Louis. Back in the 1st and in the 5th. Cardinals would score 3 in the 6th, and they lead it 5-2. 0-2.
Burden, 27 now, 6'5", 228. He was selected from the Athletics in the first round of the Major League phase of the Rule 5 draft back in '06.
And a swing and a miss. So Colby is down on strikes. A strikeout for Burden. Here's Albert Pujols. Well, typically you see ball games last around 3 hours now in the major leagues. And we're on pace for that here tonight. Come to the ballpark, you pay your hard-earned money, you're expecting about 3 hours.
Oh yeah, I mean sometimes you wonder why anybody would think it. How could a game be finalized inside of 3 hours?
Here's the 0-1 pitch. And a grounder hit too short. Gonzalez is there. 2 outs. So quickly 2 away.
Burden's been up and down from Louisville to Cincinnati for the last 3 years. And Wellemeyer is going to hit here. Oh, Wainwright will just send up Wellemeyer.
Wellemeyer, of course, pitched in the ball game last night. 2 outs, nobody on. Wellemeyer with a big hack. Grew up in Louisville, Kentucky.
It's Reds country.
Yes, sir.
That's where they have their AAA team. One time with the Cardinals enjoyed a lot of success in that Louisville, and the Cardinals were there. They drove over 1 million fans to minor league ballpark.
Strike 2. Pitchers and everybody in that dugout having a little fun watching this. Oh, 2 to Wellemeyer, and he strikes out. He'll throw down to first just to make sure, and we played 7 here at Busch. 5-2 St. Louis. And let's take a look. Brad Thompson getting the start. Well over 2 weeks, and we've seen him on the mound. Colby Rasmus, an early double. Pujols with an RBI. Albert with 2 tonight, now with 45 on the season. Joe Thurston, a couple of hits. Cardinals with 1 in the first, another in the 5th, and 3 in the 6th. Stabanella scored the 5th run for St. Louis. Kyle McClellan in the ball game, and he will face Brandon Phillips. First pitch, check swing, and he went for a strike.
Kyle pitched in last night's ball game, an inning in a rare 2-walk outing, but you see 14 walks on this season. A little higher than you would like.
And a ground ball, fair ball, as Barton has it. He was playing in. Over to Pujols for the out. So with a win tonight, the Cardinals could move into first place. See Tampa Bay, one of our finals tonight, as they just destroyed Kansas City 6-2. And apparently Cleveland is mounting a comeback in their game against Minnesota. They trail 4-3. Marlins beat Milwaukee 10-3. Here's Hernandez. Pop back and foul for strike one. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's strike two. Ramon Hernandez hitting .284, and he's 1 for 3 in the ball game tonight. And a ground ball again to Barton. 2 outs.
Good quick work here by McClellan.
Admittedly, he'll tell you it was a rough spring for Kyle, but once they turned the page on spring and looked ahead to the regular season, much better. He was telling me that today in spring training last year, he didn't know he made the club until he found out he was the 25th man. He had to do it by reading an article. Rick Hummel had wrote the article, and he went to Russ Springer, and Springer said, "Yeah, I knew you made the team 2 weeks ago." He said, "Why didn't you tell me?" Then he went up to Wainwright. He said, "Oh, I knew you had made the team 3 or 4 days ago." He was wondering why these guys
because you could lose your status just as quickly.
Keep the edge.
Dick Allen told me, that he had left spring training with the ball club on the plane. The plane left the gate, taxiing the runway to going north, and all of a sudden the plane turned around and went back to the gate, and he got to be the first African-American player to play in Little Rock. As they said, you didn't make the team.
Good work by McClellan. It's 5-2. Since 1900, who is second on the Reds' all-time hits list?
Maybe a good question.
Barry Larkin.
That makes sense.
Outstanding shortstop for a number of years. Kendo saw him a number of times. Will Jose ever get a shot to manage?
I think he will.
It's one of the things I'm sure he asked himself.
And you're talking beyond Puerto Rico or the World Baseball Classic. You know, he's starting to get into the interview process now. That's always a good sign. Ryan Franklin warming up. Burton in his second inning of work. Jose recognized as maybe the best infield instructor in all of baseball right now.
Ricky Anquillo is still fighting it a little bit, although he shoots one to left center here. Well hit. And that gets down for extra bases for Ricky Anquillo. Went the other way, and he's saying finally, as he picks up his first hit.
I think that's his first hit since coming off the disabled list. And see where the ball is, out away from him, goes with the pitch, one hops the wall, and he's out there in scoring position.
Here's Molina, one of the better bunters for the Cardinals. Hit by a pitch his last time. He's flied to center and also flied out to right. Thurston on deck. Bunts it down the first base line. Somehow that stays fair. Well, it looked like it was going to go foul for sure. Maybe in the beginning of the game it would have, but with the spikes and some of the humps along the way to get to first base, it stayed fair.
Actually rolled back more into fair territory. And you're right, he's always gets the bunts down. Look at that haircut. Well, he doesn't have the golden hair anymore. Now he has the mohawk. I see more kids at the elementary schools with the mohawk.
Is that right?
Yeah, you know, going with Fredbird.
Uh-huh.
To each their own.
What's outside, of course, is the intentional walk being issued here to Thurston. And they will deal with Barton, who has won for his last 18. Always hustling as Thurston will reach first. Thurston on base for the third time tonight with a pair of singles in that walk. Hardy's prime cut pulls.
Couple RBIs for Albert tonight. One on the ground out. He's been intentionally walked. Then he hit that double and RBI in the fifth inning. Ground out to shortstop. Barton's first plate appearance, and as you say, fighting it. 3 of those 4 home runs have been against the Cubs. Franklin continuing to warm up.
Barton, of course, trying to avoid the double play to send us quickly to the ninth. First and third. Got out to the great start, and then it just seemed like it was tough for him to stay sharp because he didn't see a lot of playing time. Brian Barton.
Well, Thurston and Barton got off to the great Aprils. Barton won the National League Rookie of the Month, and Thurston was a close second to Barton.
Foul tip, strike.
Colorado comes in here after Cincinnati, and they're playing much better since they've had their managerial change.
2-1 they lead Houston tonight. That's in the ninth. Atlanta comes back to beat the Cubs 6-5. So they were trailing by 2 runs in the ninth. They tied it up 5-5, and eventually they come around to win. And at one point, the Cubs led 5-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runners at first and third. Get out of play. 1-2. The check on that runner at first. Quick move that time. They almost got Thurston. Outfield is straight away. On the inside corner, and a strikeout of Brian Barton. Been called for the most part all night.
Pitch is right there at knee high, inside part of the plate. And as you said, been calling the low ball.
So here's Brendan Ryan with
another opportunity.
Yeah, runners at first and third, this time with 2 outs.
This time he'll get the job done.
Twice in this series he's been up with a runner in scoring position, or even more specifically a runner at third, and only 1 out, and has not brought that runner in. Did it last night and again here today. Brendan on the first pitch slices one down the right field line, but foul. Strike 1. Gonzalez, Rosales, and Hannigan due up for the Reds in the top of the 9th. 5-2 St. Louis with a run in the first, 1 in the 5th, and 3 more in the 6th.
Will it be a save situation or not?
That time a good block. Kept it in front. 1 ball, 1 strike. Little chopper hit towards third. Good pick. And that will save a run and send us to the 9th. Cardinals strand 2. They've stranded 7 tonight, but they lead it 5-2. Cardinals Live is Brad Thompson. They'll take a look at him, a tournament of champs that we talked about earlier, and 10 years of that man, Albert Pujols, all coming up on the postgame show. And it's a save situation now for Ryan Franklin.
Coming in here for the 9th inning, and he has been very good this season. Only has one blown save. He's earned 12 saves. That was on Wednesday. He did pitch in San Francisco in a non-save situation. He's unscored upon his first 13 2/3 innings. And this is a big win. Gives Cardinals a share of first place with their victory here tonight.
Ichiro has his hitting streak at 26 games, breaking his own franchise mark of 25. So he's had 3 streaks of 25 hits or more. Outstanding outfielder for the Mariners, Ichiro. Quickly 2 strikes.
One thing about Franklin, he can come in and fire some strikes and get some quick outs.
Roy Halladay with that win, first to 9 wins in the major leagues. 14 strikeouts in that game.
He's as good as they come, right?
Oh yeah. 0-2. Foul ball. Franklin spent some time with the Cincinnati Reds, and I'm sure a lot of people are looking at, from their side of things, at Franklin thinking, what happened to this guy? Because he is very, very good now in this closer's role.
Talk to people in Cincinnati, and there's a strong contingent that was the old regime there that liked Franklin and wanted to keep him.
Well, check swing, and he went. Gonzalez strikes out. Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser, who thanks you for being a designated driver. And by Bank of America. Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. Rosales will be the hitter. Franklin gets the strikeout. That's how we start the 9th. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Little chopper. Thurston throws on the run, and the pick by Pujols. Let's take a look at our Budweiser player of the game. Budweiser, the great American lager. And it'll be Brad Thompson. 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, and 1 walk.
No hundo, but he's a Budweiser player of the game, and Reds down to their final out.
Here is Hannigan. First pitch is taken for a ball.
Franklin's only thrown 7 pitches right now.
Two balls and no strikes. That's good to see somebody come off the bench to try to extend the game a little bit and take a strike.
And there are times when you really wish for that, aren't there?
This would be one of them, I think, if you're Dusty Baker, no doubt.
I'm Dusty, kind of the old school.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. That's in there for a strike. Now, if you're Franklin, this is when you want to really hurry things up and try to get that final out and get the guys off the field.
Well, you know, just so he doesn't overextend himself, be ready for tomorrow, and let his teammates celebrate.
Here's a 2-1. Line drive into center, and it is caught. And the Cardinals win it 5-2.